Well, hello. It is what the hell is this? May 3rd? God. Of 2020, and we're still stuck at home. Well, if you let them let you be stuck at home. Um, at Oh yeah, they can't hear you yet. Uh, but heartlanddefenders.com, as you can see on the screen to my whatever it is. Heartland Defenders on Facebook, Heartland Defenders on YouTube. I'm a little out of it. I barely made it in to have the show ready because I was out doing yard work. So, anyways, let's see here. Let's bring Mike, Jacob. All right, now they can hear you guys.
Hey, if you thought April was fucking bad, guess what? May brings giant wasps.
Major giant wasps.
I think we can officially deem 2020 the year of fucking thanks, Asia.
Well, right. This bullshit.
True.
No, so but I don't even know where to begin. This week has been such a clusterfuck. And yeah, I'm gonna drop. You know what? My filter since this has happened has totally been screwed. The only time I've been able to filter myself is work, and that's only because I still kind of like my job.
And you're still doing it,
right?
Wait,
Luckily,
you still work? I thought we were like a billion people out of work.
Well, they just furloughed part of my division for a couple of weeks because.
Wait, so we've been in lockdown for almost 2 months, give or take, and now they're furloughing people?
Yeah, they finally decided that that part of the division wasn't making enough money. So
there's more that to come.
Right.
I'm just saying, just keep that statement you just made that they figured out that they didn't make any money.
Well, they made some, but they didn't make enough. Yeah, and that's where they have to make the decision of we furlough you now or we lay people off later. And so they're trying to furlough people, and they've even said my part of the division they're not yet, and the word was yet. They can't promise there won't be one, but they won't promise there will be one either. So
as soon as they open everything up, they're gonna lay you guys all off.
Yeah, for a week or two probably. They even said something about a possibility of a mandatory week or two off without pay.
It's gonna be, I mean, I think we're finally getting at that point where we're at the tipping, and I think dominoes are gonna just start like falling downhill quick here soon.
Well, you start seeing the people that are getting fed up and opening back up, and they're, the perfect example. If you weren't in Ohio and you didn't see. Or you're in Ohio and didn't see, there was somebody that tried to open up on the 1st in Columbus, and the health department showed up and threatened to take away their liquor license and their capability of selling anything in the city if they didn't close their doors.
That sounds like a strong arm tactic.
I mean, you look at it that way. It's really starting to show now that maybe all our little licenses and permits and stuff are all just a way of saying, "Hey, we can get you to do whatever we want."
More or less, yeah. Well, there's what. Oh, I mean, there's all kinds of talk. I mean, if you're not gonna be able to get your license renewed if you don't, take the vaccine, or the rumor mill has even gotten freaking.
Oh, I know.
Oh man, dude, it is.
You can't turn on Facebook without it being.
I try not to anymore.
I saw one the other day, Cosper. I think you responded to it. That it's just a goodie but an oldie coming back. Somebody posted a video of a chemtrail in the sky and said the governor's dumping COVID-19 on us during the protest. It's like, wait, they just like. Tweak the formula a little bit, add a little COVID-19 in there for you.
Hey, why not?
Well, yeah. Didn't you know they've been spraying it forever?
You got to pump the numbers up since they can't lie about the numbers to begin with, because who really knows what the numbers are?
They're not even getting into that shit. The whole CDC dropping 28,000 and some odd freaking cases because they went, oh shit, they died from a nail gun to the head, not COVID-19.
I'm not even hitting that at this point. I'm just hitting the fact that if this is such a conspiracy, and this is such a, they're trying to control us, why the fuck ain't they lying about the numbers? Because we can't prove the numbers are right. There's no way to prove the numbers are right.
Wrong either.
Yeah, well, I think that's the whole point right now.
To scare us, the numbers should be higher.
Well, I think they've screwed so much up, and things have been so not what they thought, or they were, and they're not telling. I think there's so much going on anymore that you just don't even know. You just don't even know what's true. And let's be honest, anytime somebody comes on, even if they're telling you the truth now,
right?
Nobody believes it.
You can't. It doesn't matter who it is, because everybody's got their agenda of pushing what they want to say, what they want to look, which gets me to a point. I have no problem with anybody that's going out and protesting and trying to get them to open the states back up. I'm having a problem with, and we brought this up at the last show, it looks like a Trump rally, and now they're calling you all white nationalists and you're all racists, and they're comparing you to the freaking Black Panthers because of the way you're doing shit.
No, did you all see the post from the Michigan freaking governor on CNN saying that the people that marched into the building or whatever were covered in swastikas and freaking neo-Nazi stuff and everything? I mean, it's optics, people. If you don't know that word, look it up.
They're using it against you. They're using it against you to make you...
there's any rally we've been to, there's always those 3 to 5 guys that they can put on camera.
Well, and see,
it's always,
I saw another post. It was a picture of the rally goers, full battle rattle, rifles slung. If you're making fun of this, you would have made fun of this. And it was patriots with their freaking flintlock muskets standing there. Here's my perception of that picture. The guys standing there with their shit on today do it because they want to look cool.
Some. I would say percent.
Some. The picture of the dudes with the flintlock muskets and shit, I don't know if you realize this, but at the time that picture was probably, garnered, painted.
Yeah.
There was probably a couple of 100,000 freaking redcoats on the other side of that picture they didn't paint in there, standing with long guns ready to freaking shoot them.
Well, but my point is they're using it against them to discredit them. They're using it against them to go, look at all these white supremacists that are marching on the rally. They're not. There's people I've seen that I know on my flag feed that I know that would totally have they'd have been fighting with people there if this would have been a white nationalist rally and not the rally to open the state back up. They made a mistake painting the rally as a patriot / militia rally, and it screwed them in the image of, now they're using it against them to discredit them as any kind of anything towards saying, hey, we want this open back up. Now, if it would have been just a big group of people with no guns, no Trump hats, none of that stuff, it'd have been a different headline. It'd have been, I see Facebook things all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the groups that go and do the full, because at this point there are seriously people who, and I'm not saying, I don't even know if they're right or wrong at this point, but there are groups that right now are like completely fed up, and I get that like, hey, you know what? Now is the time. Obviously we're not being listened to. They're taking over everything. And I understand how they got, how they've come to that conclusion, and they're tired of it. The difference with the picture is that, it kills me with that, because they're right and they're wrong. You know what? Yeah. Let's all be honest, and anybody that's on here knows. 50% of the militias out there, or whatever patriot group, they're jokes. Okay, they do. They buy the pretty equipment to show up 2 times a year at a rally and look cool. But there's probably more patriots that show up without the battle rattle, and I'm guessing that back when our forefathers started all this stuff, I'm betting that they showed up in town hall looking a lot more like blending in than they looked like the rebels at the time.
Right.
Because you're gonna get a whole lot more information walking in like that.
Even when you look at the picture of that meme that I'm talking about with the Patriots and I'll call it what it is, with the Patriots at the State House today versus the Patriots of yesteryear and our forefathers. Yeah, they may have had a long rifle, but they were still dressed in suits or their Sunday best. They weren't standing there in their farm clothes.
Yeah, well, and I don't even know if it's the same concept as then as now. I mean, and you know, a major difference I think that people lose a little bit right now is that back then it was I don't know, unless people are at that point where they think that everything, there's no hope left at all, because that's where the forefathers were at. At that point, all hope was gone. There was no chance of anything working but war. That was the only way anything was going to change.
Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question, Cosper. And this goes for anybody watching the show at this time or any other time. If you're at that point that you feel you're just done, it's done, it's ridiculous, it needs to be over, what are you going to do? Not what am I going to do for you?
That's $1 million question, I think.
What are you going to do? Because that's what I'm seeing out of all of these posts. I'm seeing a lot of, you know what? We should do this. And it's like, are you going to lead that charge? It's that game we used to play when we were kids. It was like, hey, there's this cliff over here that goes down to this waterfall that, like, the hole's really deep. We're going to go jump off that. How about you go first? No, you go first. That concept. What do you?
For me, it's not who. I'm not even so much at the if there was a plan next, I have no problem going first. My problem is that everything I see, I get, and we went into this last week, and probably every week for the next 100 weeks we're going to go into it. But it's okay. We're going to take over. Okay, then what?
And then
what's the plan after?
There is no and then. It's
right.
But what you might get out of people.
But Jacob, if we hang to wine, everything's cool.
But the best you might get out of somebody is, well, we're going to take it over and we're going to make it what it was. Until you have the power.
Well, I don't want to go back to muskets, though.
But you get what I'm saying? Like,
load time's way too long.
No kidding. I ain't got that kind of patience.
That's where I'm standing on it. It's like, okay, what are you going to do?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the problem I think we have right now. As much as we do what we do, and there's other people that watch that do, and there's other individuals out there that do. No offense to anybody out there, and maybe that'll change, but I don't see a whole lot of new forefathers out there right now.
What are you? I'm watching the stream.
Did I screw you up?
I'm a little behind the power curve on the stream, ladies and gentlemen, and I just noticed Jeremy's tinkering with new toys.
My Plague Doctor mask, yeah.
That was so 2 weeks ago. That's over. It's not right anymore. Now it's like we're going back. But
do we even know where we're going? I think that's the problem. Where are we going?
I've given up on going.
Well, I mean, most, I made a post earlier. I don't know when it was. You're earlier than, I don't know, last day or two. and I know it's easy for me to say. But if you have a business and you need to make a living, then open. And if you truly believe that what they're doing is unconstitutional and they have no rights, and I'm not going to argue with you.
There's a justice system.
They don't have a right to keep you from making a living. Open, and then be ready to fight.
There's a justice system.
I'm not talking about loading muskets. I'm talking about, you may have to go to court. And I suppose if going to court and you still get sued, well, then maybe you're going for the... Somebody dropped their mic.
Phone fell down.
Oh, okay. Then maybe that's the next step. But,
right.
I mean, if we don't all stop bitching about it and do something, then nothing's going to change. So, if you're a hairdresser, open up Google every hairdresser in the area, get together and say, hey, fuck it, let's open.
I think I said that. Didn't I say something like that last week with the whole, if we all decided on Tuesday of next month, the first Tuesday of next month, we're all going to call off. The company can't really operate.
Right.
That would be and that's the other part. Need a program? No, mean us. Program director? We don't want a program director.
Yeah.
we're not a program. We're just here talking. We're definitely not a program.
Right.
Basically, call this thing a freaking podcast.
Yeah.
Exactly. Spout off our brains.
Terry, if you're coming to us for news, you may want to tune in.
No.
In the best defense of the new folks watching, we stopped saying that a while ago. We pretty much kept a constant base of our viewers. We are not a news network. Our opinions don't really freaking matter. If you agree with us, great. If you don't, fuck it. Whatever.
Cool. Yeah, you're good too.
Right.
But no, it's I don't know. It's just insane anymore. I mean,
how many Facebook posts have you seen of the horse, and written over top the horse it says 101.5 million people, and then a little rope that says unconstitutional laws or unconstitutional orders or whatever, and that rope's tied to a little chair that says stay-at-home order or stay whatever it says.
I think I missed that one.
I've not seen that one either.
So this has been floating around the echo chamber that is your Facebook and your Twitter. It's the representation of a very powerful creature being tied down to the fragment of an idea of something that can hold them down, like a plastic chair just sitting on the ground.
Gotcha.
So, like Cosper said, if you're a hairdresser, get with all the other hairdressers in the city or in the state and form a group of hairdressers to go fight the you can't open order that's baseless and has no reasoning.
Well, my favorite thing is that I can go to Walmart. I can be around people at Walmart. It's easier. Right. It's easier for me to come in contact with somebody at Walmart or the grocery store than it is for me sitting to get my hair cut somewhere.
You know what's even funnier than that? The Walmart we have in my town has a hairdresser beauty salon in it.
Is it open?
No. They have to close that. The people that work there are now working in Walmart behind the registers because they can't do their job. But it's in Walmart, and everybody started in the Walmart. So what's the difference? I mean, and it's not like it's closed off. It's not like they put the quarantine plastic up and have ventilators pulling air out like it's contaminated area. No, it's just got a piece of caution tape in front of it or some shit that just, you can't go in there. But you can be, it's right in front of the cash register. So as you're walking through the cash register lines, you're staring at it, and we just happened to get one of the girls that worked in there that now works at the cash register going, I really wish I could go back to do my job. I really miss my clients. My daughter's in the 4th grade. The other night, they went to a parade at the school because they've shut the schools down indefinitely, at least until the end of the year here in Ohio. The teachers are sitting out there holding signs saying, we miss you. We can't wait to see you. I mean, it's like they shut down stuff, and this is getting into the rabbit hole conspiracy thing, but they didn't shut down the big shit that has the corporate backs with the big money. They didn't shut down your Walmarts, your Myers, your Krogers, your Menards, your Lowe's, your Home Depots. They didn't shut those down, but they probably shut down the mom and pop hardware store down the street. It's just selling nuts and bolts to you.
No, the hardware stores are open.
Hardware stores are allowed. Yeah, if you were the same type of store, just like convenience stores have been open.
Well, just like Family Dollars. I mean, look at Family Dollar. I mean,
Okay,
you don't have to or need a dollar store.
But you're right. I mean, I would say it's probably fair to say that a vast majority of the essential businesses are corporations.
Yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with that completely.
I mean, I can tell you that the company I work for, they've pretty much in no uncertain terms came back and said, we're prepared for this. We've got the money to back us through whatever it takes.
Well, you know what? But that's the other question I have too. Do you think that plays into it as well? Forget the essential, non-essential. As a giant corporation, do you think that they also have the clout and or lawyers to go, hey, Mike, Mr. DeWine and Dr. Labcoat, we've got enough lawyers to keep you in court for the rest of your effing life. We're not shutting down.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, so my favorite
100%.
My favorite thing is there's a specific store a certain person works at. So there's a town right here by me that has required everybody in the town to wear a mask if you're in a store. Required. Like their health director, blah blah blah, has said, look.
Then don't wear a mask. Then don't go to the store. Then don't wear a mask.
Well, so everybody's saying, well, then I'm not going to shop in that town. Newton Falls is the town, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So, the certain store has said, yes, we need to put up signs that mandate that everybody wears a mask and that every worker wears a mask. But you cannot tell a customer if they come in without a mask, you cannot force them to wear a mask and allow them to still shop.
So I gotta ask this question.
And this is not the only big store company that I've heard this say that if it's required for customers, we're not going to force them to wear a mask.
Completely off topic. Completely off topic. Did I miss something? And Ohio is now pot friendly and completely legal.
No, not completely. Just still medical.
Yeah, just medical.
They have not passed recreation yet.
Okay.
No.
So I didn't miss anything.
That's
because
November,
I went to a convenience store today in a really small town here down by me. Right?
Yeah.
It's like the biggest convenience store in this town. It's a gas station. And on the wall,
CBD oil.
No.
Oh.
A no pot sign. Pot leaf, circle with the line, for our gun stuff. No pot smoking inside the establishment.
Oh, that's because people that are smoking legal CBD or that have their medical license there's been a big rise in people going into stores and they're vaping because a lot of it's vape oil. And they're going into stores like they would vape.
Vape in a store?
No, it's not. It's not against a lot of vape in a store. It's not against a lot of vape in a bar either.
But if they can't be the driver either, right? If they can't drive.
Probably not.
The whole question was, I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss something.
Okay, no, they have not legal.
This is the first one I've ever seen of this sign, the no pot sign.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. John is saying they can. Technically speaking, any private business can make you wear a mask.
And they are. Some of them have actually announced, like Menards down here by me, has made it to where they will not let you walk in the door if you don't have a mask on. They will tell you to leave.
Yeah. Well, the old dude at Walmart told me this morning, like, yeah, we're thinking on the 12th that we're they're probably going to be because I was one of maybe like 10 people without a mask there today.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. And I pretty much told him then, well, I won't see you after the 13th then.
Right.
I mean, I don't have anything against people. If you feel it's necessary, if you have your reasons, whatever they may be, I could care less if you want to wear a mask.
I've been thinking this since the whole mask thing happened on what was it? Was it the first? I can't remember. Whenever the mask mandate came out, and then it wasn't a mandate, it was strongly suggested. Then it was a stay-at-home order that extended to the 29th. Then it became, and I quote, a stay safe order until the 29th, which...
What if I don't want to stay safe?
Whatever.
I want to say a certain thing right now, but...
all I hear is bitching. That they're taking my liberty. They're taking my freedom. They're tyrants taking my freedom. Do you not have the freedom to go outside your house? I haven't seen a cop pull anybody over yet that wasn't doing something illegal to begin with, or been asked for paper.
Yeah. I think that's, well...
Hold on. I'm not done.
Yeah, well, that's what people are going with it, though.
I have yet to be told that I have to do anything outside of my normal actions. And my liberty and my freedom is when I do get told at, say, Menards, which I frequent quite often. In the last 2 weeks, I've probably been there at least 8 to 9 days picking up items for my house. Guess what? You require me to wear a mask? I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to shop at your establishment until you decide to stop being a freaking pussy and let me walk in there the way I want to walk in there. My money's not good there anymore. The same as if they put a no gun sign up there. My money will no longer be good in your establishment until you figure out what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, it's the same. It is. It's the same exact thing. That's why and I know people, and we've had this discussion probably more amongst the group than on here, but I don't have a problem with a business putting up a no firearm sign. And here's why. It's there, yes, Constitution says we all have a right to carry, but that doesn't mean that, everybody has to like guns. So if they don't like guns and it's their business, well then, much like we want the government to stay out of our personal lives, I personally want the government to stay the F out of their private businesses as well. So if a private business wants you to wear a mask, find someplace else to go.
Right.
If they don't want to allow you to carry your concealed weapon in, find somewhere else to go. I don't go to BW3. Well, that's not true. I still go to BW3 carrying anyways and wait for them to tell me to leave. But that's a different.
Well, I mean, if you're concealing the way you're supposed to be, they'll never know to tell you to leave.
I still take it as a suggestion.
But that's the thing. Terry just put, I will not wear a mask. It's a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke. But when you go to a store that says you have to wear a mask, are you going to then comply with said joke or find another store?
Yeah, I'm going to find
Terry. I would take.
And here's the only thing I disagree with Terry. You know what? It's probably a joke for you, but again, is the strength of the virus probably not what they thought it was? As far as mortality rate, yes. I think the contagious level of it is just as high as they thought. I just don't think it's making that many people sick. That's where they kind of were like, oops, we were wrong about that part. But again, if you live with someone that it would affect them, then no, you wouldn't want to take it home to them. And I've got no problem with you wearing a mask.
Right.
I mean, this has to go both ways. This is the biggest problem with the gun issue as well. And not for everybody, but some want to push. Well, I don't care if you don't like guns, you're gonna like guns. Well, that's not right either. If they're anti-gun, well then respect their opinion. If they respect your opinion.
You sound very libertarian, sir.
I don't know. I think it's just common fucking sense, isn't it?
What? You do you, and I'll do me, and neither one of us should bitch about what the other one's doing. That is common sense, but we don't use that here.
No, and I think that's more to the problem than any of this is that the government flat out obviously felt we were too stupid to have common sense, which in some cases they might be right. But then again, let those people get it and die, and then there won't be a problem.
Amen.
Kind of cold, but true. Take the warning labels off. Fuck it, let them lick it.
Please.
Lick the handles. I don't care.
I know. I mean, it's the same. In the end, the common sense is just like the common sense come flu season. If you're an elderly person during flu season, you probably tend to not go out into places where there's a lot of people, or you wear a mask, or you use an online service or something because you're susceptible to catching the flu. So, I guess that's the biggest problem that I had with all of this is that when the governor and Dr. Labco came out with their suggestions, everybody fucking yelled fire. Oh my God, we gotta close. No. If you
and
don't,
it's been a month and a half bitching about the closures.
Right. Well, I think a lot of people took 2 weeks and were like, yeah, fuck it, I'll take 2 weeks off. And then after 2 weeks, everybody was like, oh, this is bullshit, man.
But are you missing the fact that the people that bitched for 2 weeks or bitched the 2.5 weeks after the first 2 weeks are now going, oh, we're reopening. You guys go out. Let's see what happens. I'm going to stay home until that's over.
Well, it's not going to be we're not going to spike. If we spike, it's not going to be that bad. Other countries, Sweden, as an example, has shown that with them not locking down like we did, they are having the same percentage of infection, the same percentage of mortality rate, and the only people they really protected was people that were affected by it that could possibly die from it. Old people and kids.
Do you honestly think, and this goes to anybody in the comments and anything, do you honestly think with them locking us down, did it really slow the country down that much?
The virus?
Yes.
Country has slowed down, yes.
Yeah.
It slowed.
I know. You mean the virus.
I mean, you
No. I don't mean the virus. I mean the amount of people you saw in Walmarts, the amount of people still going to the store on a daily basis.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Traffic.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you what. Traffic up here.
A lot less.
It became the freeway. I went.
Oh, no. Don't get me wrong. Trust me. Driving it every single day. I'm one of the people screaming, hey, all you non-essentials, the minute you get put back into work, please, for the love of God, don't slow me down. The average speed's been 93 miles an hour on the highway. Stay the hell in the left lane.
Well,
I think if you, yes, I do, because if you take out all the parents all the parents, that had kids at home, they didn't go anywhere. 90% of them.
Right.
They had a lot of them had no choice but to stay home because they closed every avenue. They had to put them in daycare or anything else, and most of them were so scared to use their grandparents or their parents to watch the kids. So yeah, I think it slowed the amount of people out. And yeah, Walmart had my Walmart had less people than normal.
Oh yeah. Well, when they went to the
but
single door entrance,
I will say out of 4, that's a very congregate. 4 and 1 were some of the very congregate areas that seem to be the most locked themselves down. And Cosper, where you live is numero uno for the state of Ohio in cases.
No,
it's actually by me, Youngstown.
yeah, I'm Geauga County. We're one of the.
You're Geauga. Okay, Cuyahoga is the one that is.
Well, but here's the other thing you got to remember though too, especially in places like even in Geauga County, and Cuyahoga counties, but there's also a gazillion Walmarts, so there was less people overall in all of them. So, I went to Cleveland a few times, and yeah, compared to any other normal weekday, oh hell yeah.
Well, the last time I went,
I feel like there was still plenty of
there's still
potential contamination, especially with the amount of people that you can sit there and like record with your phone, with eating a sandwich with their latex gloves on, pulling the mask off their face, pulling back
that
up.
kind of stuff. Oh,
I'm sorry.
No, the worst is watching these people. The worst is watching the people who are cleaning things using the same pair of gloves every time.
Yeah.
Cleaning it and using the same paper towel every time.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, but that's the problem. It's kind of like giving everybody a jet airplane, but no instruction. Well, here, we want you guys to all fly.
It's field sanitation without a book.
Well,
it's like, okay, you got to be clean. It's like,
well, yeah, but people
this kind of stuff was taught to us in school when we were kids, and I'm telling you now, they've taken a lot of it. The common sense crap you do at home. How do you clean your house? How do you wipe your counters down so you don't get salmonella and shit your pants? How do you not?
But that's the other problem too. Just like, okay, yeah, everybody has to wear a mask. Have you tried buying an N95 mask? Amazon won't even sell them to you. Even when some of these companies go back to work that need masks and stuff like that, I don't know if they're going to even have masks to go back to work.
It's going to be face covering.
We use Prime. We use Prime and subscribe and save. We've used it for years.
Oh yeah,
for years. And we put one of the packages of Charnel or whatever toilet paper we get one every month from Amazon, right? They still haven't shipped them. They're like, no, these don't exist. No, we don't have them.
No.
But now it's gone from toilet paper. Now it's chicken. Have you seen that? There, at least down here, you can't find chicken.
You can't get meat anywhere up here really without being there during the day they put it out, because everybody is that's the new panic buying is meat, because they heard that Tyson said.
Hey, it's not just the panic buying. So I taught, and I'm not going to say what store, but there's a store here not too far from me, and I saw a guy go into. I saw one of the guys go into a cooler, into the back, and come out with a single pack of chicken and hand it to an elderly customer, and. So I was just kind of like, huh. So I went up to him and I'm like, so question, are you really out of chicken or are you out of putting it out? And so what they do about once every hour, and he told me this, about once every hour, they put 6 packs out. Then they wait an hour. They put 6 packs out.
Giant Eagle in my area has announced that they will not allow people to buy more than 2 packs of meat that are on sale or that is chicken.
Yeah.
Per customer.
Yeah. Well, so let's go into that. So how do we get enough people together to just start buying all these pigs and chickens that are being just slaughtered?
Right.
'Cause we need to get a Facebook group together to go buy a
Well, like whoever posted that in the group.
That's a conversation to not be had. Here's something I want to ask you, and the two of you should know this answer. You ready? How many people do you think you can get to agree on one simple topic?
Nowadays?
Let's say out of 200 people, how many of those people would agree one way or the other on one topic?
Maybe 10.
Maybe.
Jeremy saying 10?
10 people.
Saying maybe 10?
Okay. Yeah, I think you're in the 10 to 15%. Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
If you don't think we're screaming in an echo chamber, or you're screaming in an echo chamber when you get on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you go, I literally saw a post today from a group on Facebook that said, do you agree or disagree with DeWine's handling of the COVID? And 200 and some people, all in agreement, said no. There were no one that said yes. None. So, with that rational thought,
are you asking? Yeah, but if you're asking overall, I mean, are you asking one? Are you asking? I guess if you're asking the question as one, 100% yes or no.
You just answered the question because you're questioning it.
Well, yeah, but that's the problem. You're not going to. How can anyone be, even people they believe, or people that they follow on, that they've gotten information from? How does anybody trust any of the information? And I don't care whether you're for, in the middle, again. Whatever you perceive this virus to be, whatever you perceive DeWine to be, whatever you perceive the lab coat to be, there is so much misinformation out there right now. How do you believe anybody?
But It takes it back to your statement. How can we get a group together to buy up all the hogs and cows being butchered?
Oh, well, I think we all want to eat, whether we disagree.
Not sold and just thrown down.
I think you can find 10.
If it wasn't for the fact that you had to buy 10 of those pigs in that post in our group, I would have went and bought. I would have drove across the state to get one of those pigs.
I had freezer room for 10.
It was only 10. You had to buy lots of 10.
Yes, you had to buy lots of 10.
Oh, you can get. No, I think the bigger problem with us right now would be getting 10 people to that know how to slaughter a pig.
Right.
I doubt it.
I mean, you and I, Cosper, have a butcher down on 422.
So I was wondering, can you just? So what do you do? Could you just transport it from there live, or do they take it out before you leave, or how does that?
Each place is different. I do believe it depends on the place.
All right, so
I know there's a guy.
Let's get him out Paul Mayhan's because we might be making a trip to Van Wert next week.
I saw a guy down in, I think he was in Kentucky, selling hogs, 250 to 300 pounds.
140.
Yeah, for one, like
that's
the
in
picture.
Van Wert.
Yeah,
that was in Van Wert.
Yeah. I mean, they were. Yeah, well, he finally he did repost. He's the one that reposted and said, "Man, I'm getting so many requests. It's got to be 10 or more." Or, he's like, he basically said, "I can't do singles anymore."
Yeah, but I mean, 10 of us could get together. Each one of us get a whole hog and be done with it. But that's the problem with the majority.
You're right. Yeah, we can't even get enough. You can't tell me that there aren't. I mean, how many pigs what was the picture that he had? Did he slaughter like 300 pigs or something like that?
Oh, one picture I saw it said it was a stack of pigs 30 feet tall, 100 foot long.
Yeah, okay, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Okay, let's call that 3,000 pigs.
Yep.
Okay.
You can't tell me that there aren't 3,000, there's not 3,000 people in Ohio that eat pork and we couldn't go buy those?
Right. My favorite argument on that, though, that the conversation that starts happening, though, is people start going, because that whole stack of pigs, they were supposedly disposing of those pigs. They weren't selling them. They said they weren't allowed to sell them. That was that post. Now, it sparked a conversation of, well, then, why don't you just give it away? And I looked at, like, well, you can't, because if you can't sell it, and you try to give it away, then what's going to happen is you're going to start a market where people are going to expect free pigs, and then they're going to wait and not buy pork.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. I don't know how many of you guys work in restaurants, but you can't legally give your food to homeless at the end of the night.
Right.
Not legally. Now somehow, so explain to me this though. So, I own a small restaurant. I can get in trouble if I feed the homeless. How does the the Indians, where the Indians play, at the end of the night they give all this stuff to homeless? How does that work?
I don't know. I don't know if they have something where they sell like something for $1.
yeah. No, it's probably. Is it this? Is that what it is? Or
freezing the palms.
Yeah,
probably.
Okay.
A lot of revenue comes into that facility for that city.
Well, I mean, look at people that go out to give food to the homeless, and then they get kicked out of the area where the homeless are at because you don't have a food license.
Yeah. Oh, well, it goes back. I mean, this all goes, and maybe that's what a lot of this is. Maybe this stay at home or stay safe or whatever it is tomorrow order. And I think that's probably the biggest issue. Obviously, is the order part. We had that discussion last week, but maybe this is just for so many. Maybe this is just the final, this is it. All the stuff we just talked about has just led up to, what? They're going to screw us, the common man, no matter what we do, no matter what the situation. So F it. You know what? Let's just go start blowing shit up.
Oh boy.
Hey, if we're going to get off, I'm going to go out in glory.
We got 15 minutes. Let's just open that fucking can. Let's go.
I was hoping it was a lot later than that, so we couldn't open that can.
Oh shit!
Is that where everybody's at? I mean, I just don't. Again, I mean, Jacob, you and I have had this. You and I through most of this have not felt. And I would say I changed a little bit recently with some of the other stuff, but for 90% of this, I never felt like I had been violated or whatever other words people are using, because I still went out and did everything I did. I still went to work. I still went to whatever store I wanted. If I wanted a pack of gum, well, I figured it was essential. I went and got a pack of gum. I didn't. I went out and did it. And I'm sure I'm getting the principle now, but because you went out, but it was my choice. I mean, I took the governor's words and Dr. Labcott's words as suggestions, and she said or they said I couldn't go out unless it was essential. Well, if I wanted it, quite frankly, I found it essential, so I went and did it.
Right. But is that the primary problem out of this whole thing? Is that more people took what they said? More common man took what they said as law or as direct order, and they didn't take the second to go, you know what? Yeah, I can't sit down in a restaurant, but I can go to the restaurant, order my food, and sit outside with a little picnic table.
The restaurants I went, you stood inside anyways and waited for it.
I mean, is that more of the problem? Is that why we're where we're looking at right now with the, let's march in front of their houses, let's scream at the top of our lungs? Is that why? Because more of the common man didn't look at it and say, it's just a request. They're asking us to not go outside. So if I don't want to or don't need to, I'm not going to. But if I want to or need to, I'm going to.
Well, but then you see people that but that's the problem though. Is it just a request? Because a guy up here had a four-wheeler accident. They had to call the squad. They were his family was there, his wife was there, his kids were there. They were all on their own four-wheelers. Can you be closer than 6 feet to a person on a four-wheeler? It's really hard to do. You can, but for the most part, no, you can't. So, but they still fined everybody that was there for not social distancing and not staying at home
And you
because of
fight that in court, and it will be thrown out because it is not a law; it is a order.
Again,
It is a
though,
request.
but
Technically not, but that's the problem now. That one I threw out there, they made it a law, which is the problem. And again, everybody's like, oh, it's unconstitutional because they didn't make it a law. Well, they did make a law. They didn't do it recently. They did it back in 2004. That gave Dr. Labcoat the power to empower health departments to basically direct the police departments to then fine people. It is a health code violation, even though you're not a restaurant or wherever else. But again, I think that's probably where it becomes, and I didn't know that until like a couple weeks ago that had
back in 2004, nobody was concerned. Everybody was more concerned about Obama.
Right. Well,
or
yeah,
Bush, or whoever, whoever the fuck it was.
Yeah. So I mean, is that what is this just all? And I guess that's where you get into the big whole thing. Is this all been planned from the get-go? Did they always have these laws on the books and they were waiting for an opportunity? But one thing I wanted to John Campbell keeps coming in. Here's the only thing I have, John, with a lot of what you're saying. And this drives me a little insane. Everybody keeps going, DeWine, Ohio, okay, there are at least 34 other governors doing the same exact thing across the country here. So it's not a DeWine problem.
And there's governors doing worse than DeWine.
Worse. Yeah.
Way worse.
Hey, I'll give you my buddy's number in Michigan. He'll tell you about some stuff. Yeah. He can't even go kayaking by himself.
Right. We're at least allowed to do that here so far.
Yeah. Now, again, is this and it drives me nuts that the other thing that's out right now about it's a Democratic conspiracy. Well, I'm going to tell you what, a whole lot of Republicans in on it too, then, including the president, because if it's all been tied together, guys. This isn't a political thing. As far as parties. If you want to say it's a giant conspiracy by politicians, I'll go with that. Yeah. But don't tell me it's a Democrat or a Republican thing, because there's governors of both, Republican and Democrat, and the president himself doing shit that's contributed to all this.
I can distinctly remember one Cruz taking a self-quarantining. It's not, but is that not what a few months ago or a month ago or whatever, people on our side of the boat with kind of our mindset were screaming, oh, watch the Democrats, they're going to make this, they're going to politicize this. And,
of course they will.
But I'm watching our side of the boat do the same damn thing.
Oh, of course.
It's literally pot calling kettle black. It's like,
but this goes back to what we've talked to a million shows. This pandemic, or the fake pandemic, or whatever you want to call it. This is proving their point that even in a pandemic, we are dividing ourselves by Democrat and Republican, like the disease or the governors or any give a flying crap about you.
And that's why I keep questioning why everybody's doing these. If you're going to protest, stop turning it into it's only this group or it's only that group. Start making it everybody. Start including everybody.
It goes back to exactly what we've been talking about a million times. There are a million reasons why we wanted to do the march we wanted to do. If we don't come together as we the people, and I mean we the people, not we just the Christians, not we just the Catholics, not we just this group or just that color or just it. Because if you think that the Constitution excludes any of those groups, you're an idiot. Okay, because it includes all of us. It includes we the people. If you were born here, if you became a citizen here, you are all part of we the people. Don't matter what God you believe in. It doesn't matter what, who you sleep with at night. None of that shit matters. You are still part of we the people. You want to get into a moral debate with those people? Fine, but they are still we the people. And until we decide to get together as we the people, this kind of shit and more is going to happen. Because even in this thing that's going on right now, we're still dividing ourselves in half as Republican and Democrats, and a few,
Dude,
whoever's
we're dividing ourselves as hard sets and soft sets and weaklings and followers and leaders and everything. Even in our own groups, it's like you'll have like the three of us talk about. I've not felt anything. People in our own group are like, but wait, there's like all this happening. It's like, but I'm not seeing any of that.
Well, and I do see, and there's definitely overreach. Again, like I mentioned earlier, there are things that have been happening as it goes on that I completely disagree with. The mosques being open and shit like that are a perfect example. Stop being pissed off about that and be more pissed off that any church is closed.
Right.
Be more pissed off that any business is closed. Not just your buddy's business. It's all.
Is it the business's choice to put up the no gun sign?
I believe so.
Yep.
Is it the business's choice to put up a no pot sign?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Then should it be a business's choice to decide whether or not they stay open during a pandemic or not?
Absolutely.
Now, it may not be their choice if they need to put up plexiglass walls, which we see as happening everywhere, or stationing out 6-foot tape to make everybody stand 6 foot apart, or putting a security guard at the front door to ensure that only a number of people allowed into the building get into the building. Mm-hmm. But should they have the choice to be open or closed?
Yes.
That's the kind of crap that you don't have.
I would even go as far as the social distancing and all that. I think again that should be up into the business, because here's the big part. If they're not putting out little X's every 6 foot, if they're not putting little fancy arrows on the rows, and you find that disturbing, then don't go to the store. Don't go to the store.
But we're too stupid and childish to abide by the
How many of us, watching or watch later, when Dick's started doing what they were doing, we all stopped shopping at Dick's. Not that we all shop there a lot anyways,
right?
But we stopped shopping there completely. Why? Because they basically said, we don't want your business, and we said, well, fine, you won't get any of our business then.
And what's funny about it is people stop shopping at Dick's because they stopped selling the firearms, but they still play golf, baseball, basketball, sporting good items, things like that. And they went somewhere else.
I did. I used to buy my Under Armour shoes. Now, mind you, I started buying more boots as I've gotten older and found other places. But I used to buy my Under Armour shoes there all the time. When they started that stuff, I went to shopping online or going to the outlet malls. I stopped buying them at Dick's. So I took my money out.
They stopped selling one other item.
Yes.
That you may or may never have bought from that store.
Correct.
You bought shoes from there.
Yes.
They stopped selling this item. You felt that as an encroachment on your Second Amendment right. So you chose, not because of the rules imposed, but you chose to shop other places because you did not want to placate to their decision.
Right. And it's that simple with any of this.
To me, I feel like what is happening, and you can come after me, please. I welcome you. I'll give you my address.
I'm ready. Go ahead.
My personal belief is every single one of these people standing at the State House screaming, "Open it back up," have a Superman complex. They want to be the one that makes it happen. They feel like they're saving the underdog. Now,
I think there's some. I
wouldn't say all of them.
What I'm talking about, let me correct my statement.
Okay.
the people that get out in front of it all the time, they have to be on the camera. They're the ones filing for the permit.
Oh, there are people. Oh, yeah, I know you're.
They're the ones pushing to be the one at the holding the mic to introduce the speakers. And
there's a group of brothers I can think of that do that all the time.
It's a Superman complex, people. If you don't know what narcissism is, that's it. You have to feel like you're the champion for everybody else.
Well, they're spotlight monkeys. I mean, there's for sure. I mean, there's but.
Guess we're gonna go a little long.
Yeah, here's those. I would say you're correct with those who also normally profit off of said. I think there's some other people that are out there all the time. Yeah, they're probably a little bit of the adrenaline junkie because they like being the guy out there yelling and screaming on a blowhorn. There's definitely some of that. I also think there a lot of those guys that do it all the time. Maybe they don't always maybe express themselves. I think they have good hearts. I just don't think that. I think they've kind of, there's a tipping point at some point where you get a little too, I was with you right up until about there, and then you kind of just went off.
For me, it's about the 32nd time I hear you pitch me $30 worth of something.
Oh no, those guys are just dickheads. Yeah, those guys are in it for the profit, and I don't care. I don't care if you follow them. You think they're if they weren't making money, they wouldn't give a damn about your rights.
And then go to the next state to pander that shit.
And there's a lot of there's other guys. There's a guy who watches us all the time. I like him very much. I don't always agree with him. I think sometimes, some of his theories are a little out there. And maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. I don't know.
Wait for Palmer to say, what did I say?
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a little, it's all, I don't know. The problem again is I don't know where you go from here. I don't know what the right answer is.
Right.
I mean, other than if you strongly believe your rights are being violated, then get out there and do something about it. I mean, that's all you can do. Get out there and do something about it. I mean, flat out. Again, I think we should. I really want to. I'm still working on dates and stuff. I really think we should have a meaningful, impactful We the People event, and I don't mean we the Trump supporters. I don't mean we the 3%. I mean we the people. I think all of us, because I think things like this would have happened with this pandemic are going to continue to happen if we don't come together as we the people. Because if we don't come together as a group, as a country, and stop being individuals, we'll never be able to change anything. We'll never be able to change policy. We'll never be able to change anything unless we come together. And that means sitting down with everybody and finding some common sense. And I know people hate common sense, gun control, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about.
I'm gonna ask this question, and Jeremy, we should probably end on this since it's getting a little late.
It's getting over.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask this question: did our founding fathers hold a big ass rally to write the Declaration of Independence, or or was it just a few men that got together, wrote letters back and forth, discussed what it was, and wrote some poignant conversational pieces in those letters to convince others to join them, and then it became a big thing? It started really small. And I honestly want to say that, Cosper, when you and Jeremy, were you there? I can't remember. When we went to Virginia for the Redress of Grievances event.
No.
That had
no.
whopping 37 people.
Those 4 dummies.
Yeah. I honestly believe that was a step in the right direction.
Agreed.
It had the best of intentions, but it was
poorly executed.
It was just executed in such a way by certain, I'm just going to say it this way, certain individuals that were either liked or not liked by other individuals.
Some misguided.
Were doing it, and it was not as big as it could have been or should have been. But it was a step in the right direction. I feel like taking all the people, and this kind of goes to, they're probably not even watching our stream, but some of the people I see championing and screaming here in the state of Ohio, why don't you get together with the rest of the people that you're championing and screaming with, write some good letters to people that may or may not agree or disagree with you, then come together in a back room of the old Dragon Cavern and decide what you're really going to do as a group. and then maybe, just maybe, it won't have to come to freaking rounds. It won't have to come to war. It can be handled the right way. Maybe, just maybe, what was the guy's name that came up and talked to us at our state event the last time, Mike?
Eli.
Maybe, just maybe, that small group of people could convince a large group of people to elect somebody like Eli, who's a dead set constitutionalist. Or elect somebody like Mike or Jeremy or myself or whatever into the position, into the location that you feel screws you all the time. And then guess what? Now you have somebody that thinks like you or feels the same passion for the Constitution as you in that position. So now what are you going to bitch about?
No, good. And the only thing I'll add to that, and maybe we can touch this next week, does everyone think that it's going to be the same as our founding fathers? Because I think everybody compares this time to that time, and I don't think they're apples to apples. I don't think the same playbook that worked then is gonna work now. So, or do you think so? Do you think it's the same thing? I'd like to talk about it next week.
Jot that down.
Homework.
Yeah. Do you think it's the same, or do you think it's gonna take something different? Because I personally believe it's something different, and we'll get into it next week.
Right.
Writing it down.
All right. So on that note, HeartlandDefenders.com, Heartland Defenders on Facebook, what you're watching now or later, Heartland Defenders on YouTube later. Like, share, subscribe, hit the little bell, notifications. We will be on again next week at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. I'll hopefully remember to not do too much yard work.
I'm trying to get my planting done this week, so
yeah.
We got it done this weekend.
I had to put some grass down today, so oh goodness. But yes, so see you guys again next week, 8 p.m.
Absolutely.
Eastern Time. Thank you guys for watching,
guys.
And thank you too for your time as always.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again next week. Be safe.
Later.